The time was the 1970s, the high watermark of the tennis boom. And tennis players weren't just athletes, they were rock stars. Crossover cultural icons commanding big-time attention all over the world. And so Tennis Channel is pleased to offer an exclusive presentation of one of that era's finest events, the nationally televised Pepsi Grand Slam, a four-man ATP tournament that took place from 1976 to 1980. The Pepsi Grand Slam, a high-stakes shootout featuring the game's very best. The passionate Jimmy Connors always leaving it all on the court. His biggest rival, the understated Swede, Bjorn Borg. The young John McEnroe making his way to the top. Arthur Ashe, classy and compelling. And of other top players, Vitas Gerulaitis, Manuel Orantes, Brian Gottlieb, and the dashing Argentine, Guillermo Vilas. They're all here, giving their all. It's the Pepsi Grand Slam, only on Tennis Channel.
Too good.
Beautiful hitting there. Hi, I'm Kevin Frazier, and welcome to Tennis Channel Classics. You know, throughout the history of tennis, there have been special events that promote our sport in ways that are both innovative and engaging, and one such competition began in 1976. It was called the Pepsi Grand Slam, a four-man ATP event pitting a quartet of the game's very best male players, often including those who'd recently earned Grand Slam singles titles. Now, it aired nationally on TV on CBS, and the compressed of the Pepsi Grand Slam was exceptionally compelling, and these were fierce battles. Today's match is the 1980 Pepsi Grand Slam final between Bjorn Borg and Vitas Gerulaitis. You know, these two were not only great rivals, but they were extremely close friends, practicing together by day and enjoying nights out on the town. And by the way, in those days, when you were in Vitas Gerulaitis' orbit, that meant spending a lot of time in such glamorous hangouts as Manhattan Studio 54. You know, these were really the high water days of the tennis boom, and no one did more to advance the notion that tennis players were rock stars than Gerulaitis. All right, let's take you right now to CBS's Pat Summerall and Tony Trabert and their call of the match.
The day looks a lot better than it did a couple of hours ago.
It certainly does, but all the rain last night and this morning has made this court a little extra soft, and footing can be a little bit more treacherous than normal, and we'll just have to see what that does to both players, because they both rely on their court speed, their agility.
We did watch just a few minutes ago John McEnroe defeat Guillermo Vilas in a tiebreaker. They played a pro set, and McEnroe won 7-5 in the tiebreaker for third place.
Everyone, please.
And there were a number of occasions in that match where both players had trouble with their footing. That's Mike Blanchard, who will be in the chair for this match, a veteran who the players and fans and everybody connected with tennis has a tremendous amount of respect for. He's been around a long time.
Pat, when you talk about a slippery playing surface, you just hope that neither player hurts themselves by slipping when they're not expecting to. On this kind of a court, the players that know how to play it well, and these two players certainly do that, will slide into their shots. They'll be running, they'll put on the brakes so that they finish their slide as they make their shot, so that they've stopped and they're on their way back. And that gentleman is Marty, the tennis director here at Boca West, still competing very successfully in doubles on the big circuit. Great athlete, played basketball at Northwestern. Just a tremendous fellow to work with. He's been very nice to us.
He really has.
Gerulaitis has won the toss and chosen the south court. Borg has elected to receive, and Gerulaitis will serve.
Has the voice of Mike Blanchard telling you of the choice of the two players. Gerulaitis will serve. Borg with his back to you.
Interesting choice. If Gerulaitis chose which end, and of course then Borg had the choice of serving or receiving. Gerulaitis had anticipated the shot coming up the line, but there's no way to anticipate the let cord, so it jumps over your racket.
Two players that practice together a lot. In fact, Borg stayed at Gerulaitis' house before the U.S. Open this past fall, and they worked and practiced together every day. So there won't be many surprises in ability. There might be some changes in strategy.
That makes it triple break point for Borg. Borg gotta love it to have a player serve 3 points in a row in this service and come in behind it, because he says if he's going to keep doing that, I'm going to get that ball past him. I'm going to get it down at his feet.
Very shaky first game for Vitas Gerulaitis. And Borg comes through with a service break, and he leads in this final 1 game to love first sets. Best 2 out of 3. A particular change in strategy in the first game, which of course was won very easily by Borg.
I don't think Gerulaitis is going to be able to serve and volley all the time on this surface and be effective. It can be effective once in a while, but you have to mix it up. You saw a little bit of an attempt at strategy at that point by Gerulaitis. The little forehand, it was not a bad swing on purpose. I mean, it was done on purpose. He's trying to hit the ball short on Borg's two-hander to try to draw him forward. Borg didn't go for it. He hit it and backed up. Now he's in trouble.
30 love.
Borg beat Vilas 2-1 to get to the finals. Gerulaitis beat McEnroe yesterday. Borg last played on Friday.
40 love.
He's really been sharp.
Yeah, when Borg says in the interview room, I feel good, I'm happy the way I'm playing, I'm eager, I'm rested, that's got to be bad news for everyone else.
Game Borg.
Borg with 2 games quickly.
He leads 2 games to love.
He is in quest of his 4th Grand Slam title. Taking a lot of money out of this event. If he wins today, it's worth $150,000, that is.
I saw one reporter in one of the papers call this the Borg Grand Scam. It should be the Borg close, the way he owns this thing.
Borg was so good against Vilas that in the second set that he won 6-1, Vilas only got 12 points the entire set.
Vilas only held his serve once in the match. No depth. Gerulaitis forehand approached it just a little behind the service line. His volley was not much deeper, and Borg will just eat you alive if you don't get more depth than that. don't think you'll see Gerulaitis come in behind this serve, second serve.
Short ball, his approach was penetrating and stayed low.
30-15.
And even if Borg had gotten the ball over the net, he would not have been able to get back for the next volley.
That's the kind of point he's going to have to play if he's going to win.
You're so right. If the approach shot is not penetrating, or that first volley penetrating, it's just about good night.
He kept attacking the two-handed side, the backhand side, and finally got one deep enough to get him through.
There it looked like an attempt by Gerulaitis to hit the ball short, trying to keep it low, force Borg to come forward, make a ground stroke off a low ball with the net as a problem, and then make him come in and have to volley.
30-all.
Check and mark, please.
The linesman called the volley out, but Borg made a dynamite passing shot. You know where Borg is? He's going back to the other side because he knows that the ball was going to be changed and the point's going to be played over, and that really ends up being unlucky for Borg because he hit a crackerjack passing shot.
That would have been a winner, no question about it. Just inevitable when he gets a ball like that.
30-40.
Another break point. I don't know if you saw it, but Gerulaitis sort of put his hand up in a mock backhand volley, saying, oh, you got to put more on it than that. You can't just block it into this clay court. The wind is gusting more, Pat. It makes it tougher to serve. Forehand up the line. The incomparable Bjorn Borg, seeded number one in this tournament, has broken serve for the second time. He leads 3 games to love.
The blonde-haired lady is Mariana Simonescu. Bjorn Borg's longtime friend.
Will become Mrs. Borg, I understand, this July, and the gentleman next to her is Lennart Bergelin, former great Swedish Davis Cupper, who was Borg's coach, manager, trainer, and everything else.
And she, of course, is a fine player. We were watching them play yesterday.
15 love. No chance. Borg's ball caught the tape and went out, but that kind of approach is what Gerulaitis tried on the fast surface in Madison Square Garden, and it didn't work. And if it didn't work there, there's no way it's going to work on a slow court. A lot of people think when you play Borg, because he does not come to the net very frequently, that you don't have to worry about hitting the ball deep. But he will come in once in a while. He'll also step around and start driving forehands on you, the one-hander, and really hurt you.
40-15.
Very hard to realize, it always is, that he is just 23 years old, Borg.
So thus far, Vitas Gerulaitis has not been in this match at all. I've seen this happen many times in the past, Pat. I'm not saying that's going to be the case today, but where one player does not start well at all, the other player is playing well. When that player that's way behind starts closing in, getting a little bit better, the momentum can change. You feel it closing in.
Gerulaitis is in such good shape. Always seems that the longer he plays, the stronger he gets.
Can you imagine the task you'd have trying to tire Borg out?
No. It's an impossible task, I think. I remember once a few years ago, back at the U.S. Open when it was still at Forest Hills, and final against Connors. It went way into the night. I thought he got a little bit tired.
Forehand is the weapon for Gerulaitis. That's the real aggressive stroke. Sometimes he gets a little loose in the hand wrist area and rolls that hand over too quickly and doesn't finish with a good long follow through, and he makes some mistakes. Great stab volley by Gerulaitis. See, Gerulaitis closes in after one volley. He was really looking for the ball to come down the line, but just with sheer quickness, he was able to get over and knock that ball over, come back live. That corner where Gerulaitis hit that backhand is sticky wet from all the rains, and they put some top dressing on it. And we saw, as you mentioned, Pat, the other players in the previous match, you have some problems setting up properly in that corner. Perfect shot, and it's break point for Borg. I don't think Gerulaitis let that go thinking that it was going to go out. He just had no play on it. The wind kept carrying it, and he thought, I better hope it goes out because I just can't reach it. Landed right on the line. Was good depth on the approach shot by Gerulaitis.
Yes.
I remember the time when they said Borg just can't win on grass. He can't win on a fast surface with his strokes not coming to the net more. He's only won Wimbledon 4 times.
Not too much he can't do. Why he tapes up his left hand like that, do you know?
He's had some blister problems across the palm of his hand, so he just tapes it now for protection. This is another break point for Borg. Good serve by Gerulaitis. Some of you might have noticed that Borg's racket is painted black, or appears what we first thought was graphite. That is not the case. We'll explain it in a second. His contract was run out with an American manufacturer, and so he just paints her black. They call it the neutral racket.
I guess if somebody wanted to put a name on it, he'd say it. Very quiet, Very private, personal Borg.
Somebody just hollered out, "Come on, Jimmy." That's wide. So Vitas Gerulaitis, much to of this capacity crowd, has finally held his serve. He is on the board with Borg leading 4-1.
The attractive lady in the foreground is John McEnroe's mother.
And that handsome gentleman behind her is the father of Vitas Gerulaitis. He is the pro at Flushing Meadow, the National Tennis Center where the U.S. Open is held. And he was walking around yesterday with a bottle of champagne in his hand after Vitas had defeated John McEnroe. So happy.
So glad he left us some.
Just out.
15 love.
Now the Gerulaitis tactic there wasn't too bad, though. The drop shot sat up a little bit, and Borg get there, get it on the top of the bounce and drive it. If Vitas can get it down a little lower, he'll have something. How many times in the 3 days have we seen somebody hit a let cord like that and it jumps up in the air and makes an absolute cripple for the other player, just a sitter? Oh, that's a big approach shot that time. If is a big word, but if you could make that kind of approach, you'll make Borg much less effective, or anyone else. Now it's trouble. Oh, he got away with it. I think Gerulaitis broke a string in his racket.
30 all.
There's a play that players use once in a while on a slow surface, and that is a hesitation type play where you make a good shot, you wait, and then when your opponent has to turn his head to look at the ball, you sneak in. Stolly would not have been happy with Vitas and his footwork that time. He talks about getting out to that forehand quicker, get set up better. So Borg moves out to a 5-1 lead. First set. This is a best of 3 set final. First place, $150,000.
Second place, not bad either. 75,000.
Just out.
15 love.
Double fault. That's number 2 for Gerulaitis.
Gerulaitis playing almost like he doesn't feel he has much of a chance. Not saying he's not trying, but you don't get the feeling of tenacity. How deep Borg stands in the court.
Doesn't always stay back there, Lou.
Well, on this kind of a surface, he doesn't move forward as much as he does on a fast surface, because he doesn't have to worry about the wide serve in the deuce court, the one running away from him so much. And it's set point for Borg. Young man has to be wondering, what do I have to do? That guy just said, I'll just keep doing what I've been doing all week,
because I'm doing it well.
Good coverage at the net by Gerulaitis.
Yes.
I think if Vitas is going to come in behind his serve frequently, he might take some of his first serves and try to kick it up high on the backhand side. Difficult for Borg to get the ball down at his feet as he comes forward that way.
So he could put that forehand away.
And unless you've tried to play this game, you have no idea how difficult that shot is to make from that high above your head, from that deep in the court, and hit an outright winner against a guy that can run like a greyhound. And once again, it is set point for Borg. Set 6-1.
You want to talk about a nightmare? Playing Bjorn Borg on clay at that point in his career. You know what? His pulse had once been measured at 35 beats per minute. And even the sheer act of just winning a point from him on that slow surface was an extremely daunting task.
So Borg wins the first set 6-1 over Vitas Gerulaitis. Pat Summerall here with Tony Trabert. And Borg looks like he should have some mechanism in his back where you just wind him up and say, here, go win.
You know, if he keeps going like this, they might have to do it like they do horse racing. You know, saddle with some more weights or give the other guys a couple games and serve when you start the set.
What I'm going to have to start doing when I play against you.
You had Big O this morning, Big Oscar Robertson.
Oscar's a pretty good player.
He was fun to be with.
But we still lost.
That let cord cost Borg the point. That time it just bounced over the sideline.
Borg serving.
When Borg got there was no way he could make a hard swing at it, and he also had to come to the net. The trouble is, can you do that consistently enough and well enough for it to be effective? It is love 30. First game, second set. Borg won the first set 6-1. Good attempt during the point by that young man, Vitas Gerulaitis. He finally got the high forehand volley and hit it long. It's interesting, Pat, as Gerulaitis hit more of those short balls, Borg did not retreat as deep behind the baseline. He started playing on the baseline or inside because he knows what Gerulaitis is trying to do. Again, Gerulaitis got the ball down low and short, but Borg rolled it so deep in the corner that he really put Gerulaitis on the defensive. Talk about trying to hit the ball short against Borg. His topspin balls come up, and when the ball's high in your court, it's hard to hit it short and make it stay down. You're really seeing some interesting tactics right now.
Vitas seems to be, particularly until he has what he thinks is a chance, taking a lot off his shots, cutting underneath.
Right. Giving Borg no pace.
Like that. Now the underspin.
Another great point for Gerulaitis. From Borg's standpoint, if he just loops that ball up a little higher, there's no way Gerulaitis can hit the short ball and make it stay down, so it won't be effective anymore. If he doesn't drive it, just loop it a little bit more. Terrific point by both players. Punch and counterpunch.
Best point of the match. Certainly the longest.
And there's something going on. You know, Gerulaitis has changed his game. What he was trying to do wasn't working in the first set. He's changed it. He's getting into the match a little bit.
Have to be willing to do that. Oh, what a shot.
And that was set up with Borg hit the two-hander up in the corner. He hit the ball so deep and so accurately off a very difficult shot. Gerulaitis was lucky to get over there and make a reasonable lob. So Borg has an answer to that one too. I've never known anybody play Borg and not have to work for it. Another thing that Gerulaitis is doing, when he runs a couple of short balls, then he tries to run one deep up the line and back Borg away, then run short again, trying to make him be on the run coming forward. And if it's low, then he has to keep on coming to the net. That is Fred Stolle, the worldly pro from Australia who coaches Vitas Gerulaitis, one of John Newcomb's pals.
Does that make you worldly?
Well, as Newcomb says, you look around his eyes, he looks like he's worldly. Super guy. He's the one that works out the game plan for Gerulaitis.
There's a plan that hasn't worked.
There's just no way in the world, Pat, that kind of a play is going to work consistently. It might on a faster surface where a short ball stays low and scoots through a little bit, but on this kind of a surface, it's just a sit and duck. It sits, it hits, it bites, comes up, and Borg is just too accurate and too deceptive.
About 2 feet from the baseline.
Once again, break point for Gerulaitis. If he can get one break, it'll give him some encouragement. Get him into this thing. And there it is for the first time in this match. Vitas Gerulaitis has broken Borg's serve. And he wins the first game of the second set. He has his work cut out for him. Borg has won the first 6 games to 1.
Borg overwhelmed Gerulaitis in the first set, 6-1. But Vitas has changed his game plan. And he won the first game, second set.
And that's always a dilemma in a player's mind. When do I change my game plan? But the first set was so convincing for Borg. Gerulaitis really wasn't in it. He wasn't close in any of the games, but he wisely started to soften up, hit some short balls, try to then go some deep ones, and he is serving with the service break in set number 2.
That's the first time Borg's been broken in this tournament.
Get that ball down on a guy's feet like that when he's coming in. the other player moves forward, knowing that you have to pop the volley up or try the little drop volley as Gerulaitis tried, and it's just too tough to make enough of those to really be effective. Oh! Borg had two backhand volleys, did nothing with either one. You'll see here now he just sort of blocks the backhand volley. Short, blocks this one. Now Gerulaitis comes in, intercepts it in the air, and before Borg can recover, he's made a winner. Back live at 15:30. 1-love, second set. Borg won the first set 6-1. One thing that Gerulaitis is now doing is making Borg hit some different type of shots, making Borg do some things that he hasn't had to do thus far in this tournament, and perhaps it's starting to have its effect. Great point for Borg. That was worth the try because the ball was short and up. If he pulled that ball cross court with enough pace on it, he might have had a winner. And Bjorn Borg breaks right back to get even at 1-all in the second set.
Games are 1-all.
Watch Borg now and watch the footwork, the good racket preparation. Look how quickly he recovers. Racket ready, plenty of time. And from the opposite side of the court, rolls it cross court. He knew that Gerulaitis had to come across and cover the ball up the line. So Borg serving with new balls at 1-all. Gerulaitis played it about as well as he could play it, and Borg's just too good. Borg took that two-hander on the rise and just nailed it right up the line before Gerulaitis could recover to get over there.
Good strong serve from Borg. 40-love. Gerulaitis, after winning the first game of this second set on a service break, now trails 2-1 to Borg. Borg won the first set 6-1, and he first set 6-1. He leads 2-1 second.
Pat, it seems to me that something that the players don't try very much against Borg is to hit sort of shorter balls and angle them a little bit to pull them out of court. When you go lengthwise with Borg, he's so good. It's just so tough to hurt him. He's so quick. He gets to it, you know, with plenty of time, racket ready. The ball in the high part of the bounce, and he can hit it any place he wants. Just wide.
30-15.
Pat, you think these players played 15 times in real competition. I don't know how many more times in exhibitions, and they practice together all the time. You know that they know one another's game, and you got to just say that with Borg holding a 15-0 edge, he's just a little bit better. And it doesn't have to be a whole lot better. Tennis is sort of a form sport. The better player wins the majority of the time. Just long. Was not a good volley by Gerulaitis. He just sort of blocked it. No thrust to it, no pace. Borg had all the choices. Whatever he wanted to hit, he just happened to miss it by a couple inches. 40-30. Good serve that time. Gets Gerulaitis even at 2-all.
Let that serve hit the line. And it really skips when it comes off the line. Got on top of Borg before he could get the racket ready.
When you play on the clay, you've got to rally with patience, but when you get an opportunity, a high ball, a short ball, a floater, you've got to really take advantage of it, because it's probably the only one you're going to get that point. As you watch Borg swing at the ball, you would certainly call his swing, his strokes, unorthodox. It's not the way you teach a youngster coming up, but also effective for him. That was one of those instances where the ball was down short enough, close enough to the net, that Borg wasn't able to hit the ball with any pace, and then it was easy for Gerulaitis to knock the ball past him. Good low shot Double break point for Gerulaitis.
15-40.
It's 2-2 in the second. Borg won the first one 6-1. The second set's been a different story entirely.
It's been a battle.
Almost stopped in the middle of the point. He thought the ball was out, not the last one.
And Mike Blanchard, as you see there, the umpire confirming the linesman's call. Gerulaitis looked at Mike Blanchard, who was very highly respected. When Mike said, yeah, it was good, he just turned and walked over to return serve. Still break point for Gerulaitis. You might see Gerulaitis try to take a chance and come in here. Too good a second serve.
Gerulaitis really upset. There was another ball at that point right in the corner that he thought was out. He screamed, "Wake up."
It's not Mike Blanchard's call. It's the linesperson on the sideline, the baseline. They both thought it was good.
Service ace from Borg. That's the first one.
That's the surprise serve on Clay going wide in the deuce court. You're not looking for that one very often. Oh, that's too tough. So Bjorn Borg, after a bit of a struggle, held his serve with an excellent forehand cross court. Gerulaitis did not like a couple of calls, but that's all history.
On the left, the wife of perhaps the best tennis director that's ever been, Bob Daly, working today.
I'll second that motion.
Gerulaitis was really upset after a couple of questionable calls, at least in his mind, in the last game. And he sort of let that get the best of him. Borg won the game. Vitas will serve from this end to Borg at the other.
Gerulaitis did everything except when he had the high forehand volley. He didn't do anything with it. Watch part of Borg now. Watch the racket preparation. That was a tough one, way up over his head. And this is where the volley didn't have any pressure on it. Borg was able to roll it cross court with that looping and racket. A lot of risk for a winner.
Got away with one then.
15-0.
Well, I could surprise Borg a little bit. His volley wasn't that good.
Good serve that time by Gerulaitis. Pat, the court seems to have dried out enough where footing is not a problem like it was when McEnroe and Vilas played earlier today.
In the event you might have joined us after we got started, it rained part of last night and almost all of today. So the match for third place between Vilas and McEnroe underway until about an hour and a half late. And when they played, the court was treacherous at best. Double. Yes. Third for Gerulaitis, and that makes the score back to deuce.
Watch Borg when he's deep in the court return to first serve. He will not move in very much, I don't think. He'll sort of stay in that far behind the baseline. Now he'll stand in much closer. You'll see him now. He'll step up near that baseline to make his shot off the return of the second serve. Good shot by Gerulaitis. Borg's approach off the forehand was not deep enough.
Advantage, Gerulaitis.
Sort of drove through that back and up the with just a little bit of underspin, but not nearly as much underspin as he normally does.
Yes.
That's heartbreaking.
Well, those last two double faults stem from Vitas trying to be aggressive, trying to do something a little bit extra to get into the net behind it. It's not that he can't just spin it into the court. If he were not coming in behind it, he wouldn't be driving it so much. Now I think you'll see him loop one and stay back. I don't think he'll come in behind this second serve. Fluke volley by Gerulaitis pays off. Here we go again. Not much of a volley. See how short the ball was. Gerulaitis was so close to the net. Ends up with a winning drop volley as we come back to live action. Advantage Gerulaitis.
Got to be on his mind a little bit now about those last two double faults to this side. Last two times he served over. That one was short, but good. All tickets were sold yesterday and today, and they all came. As the points progress and you watch Borg, watch his head and watch how intently he watches that ball as closely as he can. right onto the racket. I guess it's really impossible to see the ball hit the racket. He really stays with it.
Now, you can't see the ball hit the strings, but try as hard as you can. You're going to follow it longer than most people do. Racket of Gerulaitis might be about 2 inches shorter now. I would about bit half the handle off. I think all the players feel that Borg's forehand is more potent than his two-handed backhand, but Gerulaitis has not gone into it very much. Double break point for Gerulaitis. By going wide on the forehand, it opened up the ball up the line. That's out. So Vitas Gerulaitis, with a little help from Borg, has gotten Borg's serve, broken him for the second time this set. Gerulaitis now leads in the second.
The Grand Slam of tennis, Borg against Gerulaitis. Borg in the first set 6-1, and Gerulaitis up 4-3 in the second. And you have to give him a lot of credit for changing his tactics almost, well, as much as it can be done between the first set and the second set.
Again, the first volley by Gerulaitis was not good at all. Much too tentative, cautious. And though he guessed right on the next one, he missed the volley wide. Borg seems to be pressing a little bit rattled. Not making his normal good swing at that passing shot. Perhaps the change from Gerulaitis' tactics is starting to affect. Get in a long, tough clay court battle, you love to get one of those freebies like that, you know, just a bad error by the other player. So you're so accustomed to having to really work for every point. Serve right smack on the line by Vitas Gerulaitis.
20-30.
He's 1 point away from stretching his lead in the second set to 5-3. Borg won the set 6-1. This is the best of 3 set final. Foul. was a good volley that time by Gerulaitis, but his footwork was horrible on the overhead smash. Just didn't get set up for the ball at all. What we call too far underneath it. Didn't get back enough behind it, and now it's break point for Borg. Boy, that's special. So the old Bjorn Borg, with some real help from Gerulaitis, has broken back.
Gerulaitis got there for that last volley. Guessed correctly, but just couldn't pull it off.
Borg's first shot was way up high on Gerulaitis' backhand volley, an area where it's very difficult to get pace. Vitas might wake up screaming in the middle of the night about that overhead that he missed.
I think he might. And that next volley.
Missed the volley. I think he's talking to his racket, Pat, and saying, how could you betray me like that? Maybe he's talking to someone upstairs, huh?
Someone bigger than the racket.
I guess that's probably the feeling you get when you play against Borg. You need some divine help. You've got a smile out of Borg.
Yeah.
It's out. Borg just worked Vitas something awful at that point, didn't he? Back and forth, in and out of that backhand corner, like he had him on a string. Ball.
We'll have more of the Grand Slam of tennis after this word from your local station. Vitas Gerulaitis lives in Long Island. Ranked number 4 on the ATP's computer list. Against the guy who's ranked number 1, Bjorn Borg. Gerulaitis, it appeared for a moment or two, he was 1 point away, in fact, from making it 5-3 in the second set. And all of a sudden, Borg has it 5-4 and is 1 game away from the $150,000 first prize.
Out. If we do get to 6-all, the 12-point tiebreaker will be in effect.
I think it would have been if you had been Gerulaitis after the way he was bowled over in that first set.
Oh, he got down nicely to that one.
It would have been very possible for him to say, what the heck, I can't beat this guy. But he pulled himself together, and this has been a good set.
Well, it was a good example, as you mentioned earlier, of changing your game plan. What he was doing wasn't working, so he changed and he got into the match.
Not much you can do about that with any game plan. Good serve. Borg just nailed it.
Borg, I think, might have broken a string. He just took a look at his racket.
It's a wonder he doesn't break more.
Well, it's strung so tightly. They say he strings at 80 pounds tension. There, Gerulaitis is serving into the courts, and finally win a serve. Anyway, what I was saying, Pat, is when you string a racket as tightly as Borg's is strung, he brushes the ball more. He doesn't come in right in behind it, except on the serve. In those cases, hitting right in the middle. When you brush it, there's not near the pressure on the strings themselves, and they don't move, so they don't cut one another. Right smack in the corner with that extra topspin by Borg. Vitas angry with himself because he really did have a play on that ball. He could have volleyed it. He thought it was going out.
It was in by what? Foot?
A foot each way at least. Yep. 30-all. That's out. Advantage Gerulaitis.
40-30.
Good serve by Gerulaitis. He's gotten even at 5-all. And again, that overhead and volley loomed very large. Two missed opportunities by Gerulaitis when he had the service break. It's wide.
15-love.
The lights have been on throughout this match, so the transition from daylight to twilight to dark will not be as drastic as you might think. Borg is in.
And Borg is passed. Borg thought good direction on the backhand volley would be enough, but Gerulaitis got to it in plenty of time.
15-30.
All these fans would love to see a third set, wouldn't they?
Oh yeah, so would we.
Great shot by Gerulaitis. That ball extremely deep and a very fine drop volley. Now Gerulaitis gets to the side of this ball and then pulls it back down low with an angle. Borg couldn't handle it, and it is double break point for Gerulaitis. 15-40, 5-all second set. Vitas Gerulaitis has broken serve for the third time in this set. He now leads Bjorn Borg 6-5 and will be serving for the second set.
Pat Summerall and Tony Trader at the Grand Slam. Fred Stolle, teacher of Vitas Gerulaitis, looking on and with a proud train of thought at the moment. Leonard Berglund, who performs many of the same functions for Borg. Gerulaitis 6-5 second set. Trying to win it. Borg won the first one 6-1.
It's wide. Is the case so often. The real champion will be a little more aggressive when things get tough. You're not going to get more careful. He missed out. The court was wide open because Gerulaitis was looking for the ball to come up the line. Borg missed it wide, and it's 30 love. Set point for Gerulaitis. That was a serve Gerulaitis is not used very often. Sort of wide to the forehand in the deuce court. Borg was standing there like he was hard again, going to try to return the serve. Set number 2, 7 games to 5.
Mike Blanchard saying no new balls yet. Ball people have brought out some new ones.
Sets are 1-all.
Sets are 1-all. And Borg, with that last swing, that was about as lethargic as I've ever seen him take a move.
He didn't look like he was really ready to return the serve, the first serve of Gerulaitis at that point. He'll come at you this set, you can be sure of that. Perfect. That is Mr. Gerulaitis. What a delightful gentleman he is. Loves the game. He's a student of the game. As we mentioned, the professional at the tennis center at Flushing Meadow, New York. Little bit of feel, a little bit of court coverage by both players. And Gerulaitis took a swipe at some to take a look. You talk about speed. Now look where Borg was, all the way across the court. That ball hit right on the line, so some of the fans think it was out. A desperation slap to the forehand. is down and looks hurt.
He does look hurt.
He slid down and just rolled over in pain. Bill Norris, the trainer, out there immediately. He's holding on, saying, don't touch me, don't do anything.
Did you see what happened? Do you have any idea what injury?
I really don't. It looked like a knee. No sense speculating, but he went down and twisted as he went down. Well, he's up and looks like he's going to be okay, thank goodness. We'll take another look and see if we can discover. His right foot stuck, and then he sort of did the splits, and then he let go and went down. It looked like, Pat, it looked to me like it could have been a groin pull up the inside of the right thigh,
right leg,
as he did the splits. Thank goodness he's not hurt any worse.
40 love.
This won't hurt probably throughout the rest of this match because he's warm, but tomorrow morning when he's cooled down, it might be painful.
First double fault for Borg. Maybe that timeout or that injury concern might have affected his tempo.
Gerulaitis is just saying, why don't you just not holler out we're trying to play, just let us play. Oh. That's perfect topspin lob by Bjorn Borg. So Borg has won the first game of the third and final set of this Grand Slam of tennis. $150,000 goes to the winner.
Friendly and generous, Gerulaitis was extremely popular among his peers, as one of his good friends and fellow pro Trey Walke once put it, quote, Connors, Borg, and McEnroe taught us how to play, but Vitas taught us how to live. He was in life.
Third and final set. Borg won the first game. Sets are 1-1.
At the top of the show, we talked about a guy getting knocked off the court in the first set, momentum changing a little bit, things closing up, and you end up with a darn good match, and that's what's happened here as Gerulaitis serving with new balls. That is a bad double fault in that he was not coming the net behind it, and you know Borg's not going to take it and come in, so you really don't have to do much with the second serve if you're not going forward. Sort of like rushing a machine gun nest with a rubber knife. You come in from too deep in the court, get a shot right at your opponent without much pace, and you have Borg's artillery. And just like that, it's triple break point.
40.
Double break point for Borg. starting to get a little dusky right now. The lights are starting to take effect. It's got to be a little difficult for both players to follow the ball quite as well. Oh, that serve hit right on the line.
Borg hit it about 30 rows up, and now it comes back.
Some people boo when the fan threw it back. They don't understand that you're playing with a certain number of tennis balls, and they want to keep them all the same.
A lot of places that wouldn't make any difference. That would have stayed in the stand.
This is still break point for Borg.
Game Borg.
Number 6 and 4 that I can remember to that court.
Borg leads 2 games to love.
He'll try at it though. He had an easy ball to take a chance with. If he makes it, it's a winner.
Machine's back in order.
You know, Vitas is upset with himself because he really did have a good swing at that forehand. Borg didn't push him that much, but he didn't hit it well at all. 40 love. So Bjorn Borg has held serve, and he now leads 3 games to love in the third and final set. As you can see, Borg won the first 6-1. Gerulaitis fought back to win the second 7-5, and Borg leads 3-zip.
With Tony Trabert, this is Pat Summerall at the Grand Slam of tennis. Borg against Gerulaitis. It looked like it would be a blowout when Borg took the first set 6-1. But Gerulaitis gathered himself together and came back to win the second one 7-5. However, Borg leads set number 3, 3-0.
I think, Pat, you know, we were talking earlier about Gerulaitis has never beaten Borg. He's 0-15, and yet, you know, this ends up being a very close match.
I wonder mentally how that affects you. Whether if you're Gerulaitis, you think, hey, I can never beat this guy, or maybe you think maybe the string is finally run out. I'm due.
Good, excellent approach shot that time by Gerulaitis. I would think that there's no way you can come in overly confident, particularly when you're playing on Borg's favorite surface. On the other hand, like you say, they keep talking about the odds, the law of averages. Borg is coming up to mark, put a circle of mark. Another excellent approach. Very close to the sideline. Deep with some pace.
30 love.
Watch this approach now when he takes it back in. This is really Gerulaitis' favorite shot right here. Good preparation. Now that's very close to the line and deep. Now you see the easy high forehand volley into the open court. It's 30 love. Had 5 service breaks in that second set, so 1 service break may not be enough to win this set.
Borg. Guess that's enough.
That's the way you draw it up on the chalkboard. Got to compliment the lines people officiating, the ball boys, ball girls. Done an excellent job.
Really have been very few complaints from many of the players.
And like the kids shaking balls, you hardly notice they're there. They're doing such a good job. Borg gets you out of position at the net. You can pretty well count it goodbye. Another excellent approach shot by Gerulaitis, but Borg was able to get there quickly enough and roll it cross court. Doesn't he look scared, Pat?
He does.
Huh? Just frightened to death, huh? Talk about a machine. Bad error. You might have heard Vitas talking to himself, you stupid idiot. That's one thing about Borg's game. With all that topspin, he has such safety over the net. Ball's always tumbling forward, wanting to come down inside that baseline.
He seldom hits the ball long.
Let's just keep his feet moving. Must be on the balls of his feet, back and forth.
How Borg learned how to play like this. Strokes like that. As you pointed out before, it is so unorthodox.
I don't know, but he sure stuck with it and made it work. This is break point for Borg, and this could really be suicide if Gerulaitis can't hang on here and give Borg 2 breaks. Good serve at the right time. Well, Pat, 2 years ago we played a Davis Cup match over in Sweden, and I saw a lot of cute blonde-haired kids over there trying to play tennis, and they all swing at it like Borg. And I just wonder whether any or many of them will be good. Borg does it well, but I don't know if the rest of them will be able to do it. Awfully quick tennis by both players. Gerulaitis unhappy with himself. See part of it here. That let cord hurt Gerulaitis. He waited right. That one wasn't deep enough. Now he's lucky to get to this. Borg goes up. Gerulaitis thought he could make a backhand volley and hit it in the net. Come back live. It's again break point for Borg. Was wide. And I think Borg overplayed that one just a little bit. He didn't have to take that big a swing at it because he had his choice of going up the line or cross court. Again, break point for Borg. That's part of Borg's game that he has done in the past, is take the short ball and jump all over it. Now if you hit a short one, he'll oftentimes try to take advantage of you.
And usually does.
Ball. That says that Vitas is a little shaky, having difficulty getting good spin on the second serve. That's out. Bjorn Borg has broken for the second time in this final set and has a very commanding 4-love lead.
And Gerulaitis looks very, very dejected. Well, he should be. Tony seemed to be showing any signs of ill effect because of that spill he took a little bit earlier.
I don't think so. Out.
Whatever, Gerulaitis got himself back together for that point. Played it well.
By about a foot.
And the sun has disappeared. It'll be entirely dark very shortly. Clouds still hanging around.
Concentration on his face.
Steely blue eyes.
Yeah, just piercing.
Service ace from him. Borg, that's number 2. But you know, as cold as he looks, look at pictures like that. We were at a gathering with him Friday night. He's very shy, very quiet, sort of hanging around the edges. Very nice job.
Didn't get there. 2 bounces.
40-30.
I agree with you. He's a very sensitive young man. He likes to lead a private type life. Of course, he's so well known, so recognizable. When he goes out any place, they just mob him. So he carries that low profile. What a credit to the game. That's wide. So Borg, like the machine that he is, has now taken a 5-love lead in this final set. He is 1 game away from winning $150,000.
Many in the crowd starting to depart now as Borg has that 5-love commanding lead in the 3rd and final set, and is well after that $150,000. Vitas Gerulaitis, a gallant effort.
A little close volleying exchange there. Neither player able to get a lot of pace on it. You might have noticed Gerulaitis' serve just cleaned off the tape on that service line. That's when you like to put the revolver in your mouth and pull the trigger. You know, so I hit that gigantic serve in the corner just where I want it. Have the easy overhead and miss it.
And you shoot the racket first.
Right, please.
That's number 7. That's an awful lot of double faults to serve any time, but particularly on a slow surface.
He's had no aces. Talking about how noisy it is now. I mean, indeed is right.
That blows wide. Borg slipped down as he tried to get back into the backhand corner. Gerulaitis backing out, watching Borg to see if he's okay.
And he seems to be.
Yeah. As we mentioned earlier, they're good friends. Perfect anticipation by Gerulaitis. He has finally gotten on the board in this final set, but it may be too late.
Borg leads 5 games to 1.
Heard the voice of Mike Blanchard from the chair. Tell you what the score is. 5-1, 3rd set. The runner-up gets $75,000. The winner, $150,000. Borg in quest of his 4th Grand Slam title.
a terrific point. You know, I just marveling at how well they play the ball, how they move one another around, they get depth, they run it short, finally attack, and that young man right there just rolls it right on by you.
Got to be very frustrating.
Gerulaitis stands there saying, well, he rolls one by me, he rolls one over me. It's the only thing left is it go right through you once.
Yeah.
He'll get there. And that one is out. What tremendous coverage by Borg. And it's triple match point. He wanted to go out in a blaze of glory with that big first serve. Well done. That's it.
And also well done. The fourth championship of the Grand Slam belongs to Bjorn Borg.
Just too good, Pat.
5-7, 6-1. Just too good?
Bjorn Borg is just too good. He's by far the best tennis player in the world. He's especially good on this kind of a surface. All you can do is just salute him and say congratulations to both guys.
For Tony Trabert, Pat Summerall, goodbye from Boca West, Florida.
Over the course of his career, Gerulaitis beat everyone on tour, with the exception of his closest friend, Borg. Though he knew the Swede's game inside and out and often beat him in practice, in tournament play, Borg won all 16 of their matches, including one later that year in the finals of the French Open. Meanwhile, having conclusively overtaken Connors as the world's best player in 1979, Borg continued playing superb tennis in 1980. While his win at the French, a title earned without the loss of a single set, was thoroughly expected, more amazing was that the next month, Borg won his 5th straight Wimbledon title, beating John McEnroe in a scintillating 5-setter. It was the 3rd straight time he'd won both the French and Wimbledon in the same year. A staggering feat not matched until Rafael Nadal won both titles in 2008. Amazingly, just over a year after these wins, Borg played his last Grand Slam singles match, and he retired from tennis at the age of 26. Football had Jim Brown, tennis had Bjorn Borg. For this edition of Tennis Channel Classics and our presentation of the Grand Slam, I'm Kevin Frazier, and of course, we'll see you next time.